2026, Sweet Home CannaBama Radio gets a reboot with ongoing appearances by Papa Snoop and Dr. Dan, special segments for veterans, seniors, recovery, and the latest information about plant medicine. We are giving you more. Join us every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central on FM Talk 106.5 on the Gulf Coast, or watch us live on YouTube.
Governor Kehoe, we're very upset. We never had the freedoms every farmer should get. We ain't no criminals, we're misunderstood. Deep down inside, you know, hemp is good. Hemp is good. Gee, Governor Kehoe, we're very upset. We never had the markets every business should get. We ain't no delinquents, we're misunderstood. Deep down inside, you know, hemp is good. Hemp is good. Gee, Governor Kehoe, what do we do? Gee, Governor Kehoe, screw you. You know what this is, Kara?
That's our USDA hemp license.
That's right. That's our USDA hemp license. You know what that means?
What does that mean?
I planted our hemp yesterday.
But didn't Governor Kehoe say we couldn't do that?
He did, but the federal government says, Governor Kehoe, like Colonel Sanders, you all wrong.
Did you know what Governor Kehoe wanted to ban hemp? His USDA licensed producers? He can't do that for us. Guess what? We're growing this season. Watch this.
Hey, CannaBama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay, with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
How do you feel about marijuana here in Alabama and its use?
I've talked about, obviously, medical marijuana. I've talked about the same thing, you have descheduling. I've talked about not criminalizing those who have used it. But I've also talked about cannabis, and I've been endorsed by the Alabama Cannabis Coalition. I've talked to people about the health care options they have, exploring cannabis, or even medical marijuana, good stuff. That's right. And so when you get into it, I'm the only candidate, I don't do this often, but I'm the only candidate that spent hours in training under someone at a professional level who learned, even under a person who served in the military, the difference between THC levels, where we get the 0.3 from. What is under 0.3, what's over 0.3. I can tell you the difference between going into your chemical background, THCA, and how decarbonization results in THC, or the burning process. Here's the basic answer to your question. As governor, one of the first things I'm going to do, one of my first legislative sessions, I'm going to pull legislators in, like these future elected legislators, and I'm going to say, come on with me as we pull physicians, we pull patients, we pull people who are business owners, who are actually in this industry. And let's talk about the benefits. The reason HB 445 has caused people problems is it was pushed through, and no one ever talked about what marijuana is, what it does. No one talked about how many people are locked up in prison right now because of their carrying a certain amount, treated as if they're a violent offender. And the list goes on and on. When we have that legislative session, we can actually overturn what took place in 445 and see where Alabama can be a state that's welcoming to people who have views just like you and I.
Change doesn't wait. Why should you? Welcome to the Gaia Guild, Global Action Impact Awareness. At GaiaGuild.com, thousands are coming together. Creators, innovators, change makers, building a future that matters. Your membership unlocks events, classes, and connections that spark action. And explore the G3 collection and exclusive guild merch at GaiaGuild.shop. This isn't just talk, it's movement in action. Gaia Guild. Join today. Become a Guilder. Visit GaiaGuild.shop.
Hey, CannaBama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both.
It's time for Sweet Home CannaBama, a show that'll answer all your questions, provide accurate information, and dispel the myths of CBD. You can participate and have your specific questions answered by emailing sweethomecannabama.com. And now for all things cannabis in Alabama, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Jennifer Boozer Stewart. You're listening to Sweet Home CannaBama Radio right here out of Mobile, Alabama on FM Talk 106.5, and we are live streaming from YouTube and social media. So if you are watching from social media or YouTube, share this with your friends, hit that subscribe button, and help us spread the good news about plant medicine. We have been here, we're staring down the barrel of 7 whole years, and I'm really excited to be improving the show year after year and bringing you guys more and more in-depth information and, telling you what your rights are, what they aren't, and how you can change that. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Cloud9 Vapes. They have hemp licensed locations in Daphne, Sims, and 2 in Mobile on Airport Boulevard and Rangeline Road. Tell them we sent you when you go in to shop for hemp products and get a Sweet Home CannaBama discount of 10% off. We thank you, Cordell Harris, and the crew at Cloud9 Vapes for supporting Sweet Home CannaBama Radio. Want to give a little shout out also to Bo's Tractor Works by our friend Bo Matheny in Raccoon Holler, Kentucky. He has saved the day not once, but twice for our family this week. Bella, my daughter, was getting ready for senior breakfast and grabbed her curling iron by the hot part and burnt her hand up real good on Thursday. And then I tweaked my bad knee. I don't know what I did to it, but it was bad. And part of the reason I can walk is because of Bo's Tractor Works salves. So if you are looking for the best salves in the market, go to Bo's Tractor Works. And if you can't find it, holler at me and I'll send you on to Raccoon Holler. So thank you to Bo. A reminder, May 19th is primary election day. It is now too late to register to vote or update your information, but please go vote. Oh my God, if you've been in Alabama and seen social media this week, just please go vote and forget red, forget blue. Let's vote green. Let's be single issue voters. Let's support the people who support us and vote for pro hemp and cannabis candidates, not only in Alabama, but whatever state you're listening from, because this is beyond ridiculous. We know that a vast majority of the country wants cannabis to be completely decriminalized and descheduled, and we want to be left alone. And we're just getting sick and tired of the push and pull. So vote for people who agree with that. And I want to get into a recap of federal legalization in the fight to save hemp before we talk to our guests tonight, John and Kara Grady, who have been fighting for Missouri as well as in D.C. Since the November 12th, 2025 continuing resolution reopened the government, federal hemp law has shifted dramatically. Congress replaced the old Delta 9 only definition of hemp with a total THC standard, imposing a 0.4 milligram THC per container cap, not per item, per container, and banned synthetic and converted cannabinoids. The 2026 Farm Bill, as passed by the House, keeps these restrictions in place and does not delay the federal ban scheduled for November 12th, 2026. And what comes next depends on whether the Senate agrees to modify it or delay the ban, something farmers and industry groups are urgently pushing for. So basically, back in the day, it was 0.3% was the threshold. If it was below 0.3, it was called hemp. These are legal terms. If it's above 0.3%, Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol, that's what THC stands for, then it's considered marijuana or cannabis. I hate to use the word marijuana. So what changed November 12th? They replaced the 0.3% Delta 9 threshold with 0.3 total THC. That means Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, any THC compounds, because there are many THC compounds found in trace amounts in the plant, including THCA and Delta 8. So those are going to be problematic because there are no plants with a 0.3% total THC threshold. They imposed a 0.4 milligram total THC per container on the finished goods, far below what any current products have, including the stunted products that were allowed here in Alabama at a 10 milligram cap. Those would not even remotely qualify. And they banned synthetic and converted cannabinoids. And they set a 1-year transition period, basically saying 1 year from that day, all of this would go into effect and be enforceable. This effectively makes most hemp-derived THC products federally illegal starting in November. So what the Farm Bill does is the Farm Bill from 2018 that we've been operating under expired in 2023, and we have just been sort of sticking with that. When you don't have something to replace it with, you got to keep going by the same rules and they have not been able to pass another Farm Bill. A huge chunk of what the Farm Bill contains is SNAP benefits. That is usually the point of contention for a lot of the back and forth because they don't want to agree on the SNAP program. But of course, hemp being in the Farm Bill is a big deal to us. So this 2026 Farm Bill is long overdue. They have got to pass it this year. And it passed the House last week. What they did not do was change that new definition. They kept the stricter definition of 0.3% total THC. They did not allow for a delay. A lot of amendments and things have been sponsored to try to extend the time period in order to get a better definition put together, in order to save the industry, in order to be able to even have products to supply this new Medicare program that allows for seniors over 65 to receive full spectrum products. So it's kind of up in the air. It has to go to the Senate, and the Senate can change it, obviously. But, here we are. It's the middle of May. It's the middle of May. We're halfway there, and we do not have a lot of time. A lot of farmers around the country, if they're not planting, need to be planting right now, this month, next month, in order to have a harvest. But nobody wants to have a harvest in October or November and not be able to sell it. So a lot of things are up in the air. The Senate will negotiate that with FDA and USDA guidance. They've got to explain how enforcement's going to work. It's a lot of changes. But one thing, the states have the ability to create a patchwork of enforcement similar to medical cannabis. There are 40 states that have pilot programs for hemp, and those states are legally allowed to create their own rules concerning hemp, just like cannabis is federally illegal, but medical cannabis is legal in Alabama and 40 other states, ironically, the same number of states. So the state can keep what we have. We can keep HB 445 and go with that rather than follow the federal guidelines. But the trick with that is it can only be intrastate. It cannot be interstate. So you can't grow it and process it in Alabama and sell it in Georgia or Mississippi. That would be federally illegal. So as long as it's grown within that state, processed within that state, and only sold within that state, each state can have its own set of laws, which sounds like a nightmare for the national industry. Tennessee already allows intoxicating hemp products with age restrictions. Kentucky allows it with, they allow Delta 8, but bans synthetics. Minnesota allows hemp-derived THC edibles up to 10 milligrams. Texas just beat back their ban bill. And so a lot is in flux, especially in the southeastern states. But the states can keep their current definitions or create their own laws within that. So the bottom line is the new federal definition of hemp does not erase state authority. States can and will continue to run their own hemp markets as long as products stay inside the state. My first thought goes out to all my favorite vendors who are in other states, because some of my best-selling products, all of my best-selling products, sadly, came from out of state. And we would no longer be able to do that. And those companies that don't sell directly to the public, but sell to 20 or 30 different states, they would not be able to keep up. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk with John and Kara Grady. Stay with us.
Hey, CannaBama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay, with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
Every moment counts if you're at risk or living with lung cancer. And anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. It causes more cancer deaths than breast, colon, and prostate combined. It can feel like a race against time. And while there may be moments where you question your next step, it's essential to know that you don't have to confront lung cancer alone. Through it all, Go-To for Lung Cancer is here for you. From screening, treatment, and survivorship support to finding the right care close to home, we are your community. As your friends, your guides, your teachers, your advocates, and your support system, Go-To is your go-to. Confronting lung cancer starts here. Visit goto.org today.
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now, with all the information you want about CBD, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sweet Home CannaBama Radio. Tonight, I want to introduce our guests. They have been on the show before. Great friends of mine, John and Kara Grady from Missouri. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having us on.
Good. Can you hear me? Last week we had some adventures with sound last week, so I'm glad to hear you clearly.
So you can hear us.
So, I'm sure you heard my mumbo jumbo in the first segment, trying to just kind of get everybody up to speed. It's so much just crap to me. It's just so much drama and so much minutia, and it's I'm tired. Aren't y'all tired of talking about this?
We are too.
I bet. Well, so you guys were in D.C. not long ago lobbying for this, both the new definition and asking for more time. How was that?
It was interesting. At first, it seemed a little intimidating, but since we've been doing it in Missouri for 5 years now? 5 years, it just kind of, when the people weren't there to tell us what to do, we just started knocking on doors and walking in like we own the place. And what the funny thing is, you can do it, but the truth is, you're not going to get to see a representative or a senator at all.
Right.
All you're ever going to get to see is their staff.
Yeah.
Unless you got a big paycheck you can bring in there, and I'm talking like you're dropping $25,000.
Right.
You're not going to get to meet with that senator or that representative unless you got ones like Congressman Thomas Massey. He met
one of my
us,
favorites.
with us. He was an awesome guy, really listened to us, and you could tell he cared.
Right.
But a lot of them, it was just the staffers we had to deal with.
Yeah. So not only do they not respond to emails and letters and phone calls, you got to pay to talk to them.
Pretty much pay to play.
Right. Oh, wow. That's not surprising. I guess it should make me sad, but I'm just not surprised. Wow. Well, so I know you talked to Massey. Did you get to talk to any other members of Congress?
No.
Well, we got to.
Oh, wait.
We got to. Well, we talked to staffers, but then I don't think we only Massey.
Dan Crenshaw. But he's not even a member of Congress anymore. So
Okay.
does he count?
Well, I don't know. I never heard his name before, but well, what about the staffers? I know the staffers probably know those elected officials like the back of their hand. That's their job. Were they very receptive?
They seem to be. Most of them didn't seem to actually understand the plan. Everywhere we go, it seems like they are very ignorant of really what the plan is. We brought a sandwich baggie filled of our chicken feed, which has some residual flour in there. We told them that, hey, like Kara's showing to your live stream people, this baggie right here is illegal because it has more than 0.4 milligrams of THC in it. And we sell 3-pound jars of this in 25-pound bags.
Right.
For our chicken feed is now going to be a felony to sit there and sell our chicken feed.
Right.
And their eyes were like, the chicken feed? And we're like, yes, the chicken feed. It shows that you guys had no understanding of this plant when you tried to regulate it, because we can't even as farmers grow it the way they've legislated it. The only way we can do it that way is with, this came out in December of last year. In Ohio, there are now 2 GMO strains of hemp that meet the growing standards.
Wow.
Most people that are in hemp are doing it for the natural abilities. They don't want GMO hemp.
No. The plant as it is, as God made it, is just fine the way it is. I mean, that's why you can't find any real food, and our food is making us sick because nothing is real anymore. Everything's genetically modified and sprayed and fertilized and pesticided, and come on, this is ridiculous. You know what I hear this almost every guest, in no matter what state they're in, when they're dealing with legislators, that's the one thing everybody says, is that the legislators have no idea what they're even talking about. They can't carry on a conversation about it with someone who does know what they're talking about. So when you put a room full of people that don't, and they don't want to hear from people who do, I don't understand not bringing in experts. I don't understand that. They bring in veterans and they let the veterans talk, and they bring in moms of kids with seizures and they let them talk, and they bring in people who have come out of all sorts of things that are business owners and that are consumers, but they never call in panels of experts and doctors who deal in cannabis to teach them, what am I even voting on? What am I even talking about? How do you even pronounce that word? You know what I mean? Most people, when just the average person, when you say tetrahydrocannabinol, they don't put together that that's what THC stands for, you know, and CBD and all the things. They have no basis of knowledge, and yet they are deciding the fate of an entire crop and commodity, an entire industry of people who are trying to do our best with that crop, and then the millions of people who have been using it successfully outside of allopathic medicine and conventional medicine. There's no thought to those people. They don't want to talk to those people, and I cannot comprehend. I think if you were to put somebody like you or me or even people smarter than us up on a stage to debate these legislators about it, just say, what is your reasoning? Well, let's debunk this. Let's talk about what the reality is compared to the headlines you're spewing. You know, I mean, that's got to be very frustrating, because I know it is for me in the State House.
It is very frustrating because we've been not to just, up to the Capitol and to D.C., but we've sat in city hall, town hall meetings where they're debating whether or not they want to allow these products in their townships and stuff. And these people, or the aldermen and stuff, they have no clue.
No.
What these are, and they in a short amount of time you're allowed, but your 2 minutes, depending on how many people are there to talk, they're not attentive, and they don't care.
Well, and you and I both know you could get up there and talk for 2 hours and they would still not have an idea what you're talking about, because this isn't simple. It's a complex, beautiful thing that God made to be this way. And it's just like trying to understand the human body. Why do we have legislators that are lawyers and realtors on health committees that have no concept of the human body and what that requires? You know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like I said, it's very frustrating.
It is. And it just, people would just take the time to understand, you know, this plant is not only just medicine, it's all other things.
Right.
Clothing, shoes, you know.
Well, and you can't really have one without the other.
Exactly.
You know, and one thing, and John, you correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I remember reading that potential THC is part of that definition, which means that even the seeds are illegal because they don't contain any THC in their seed form, but after they're planted, they do. So potential THC could even make seeds completely illegal. Is that correct?
That is correct. I mean, the obtuseness of the language in this is just flabbergasting, because, like I said, it will make our chicken feed illegal. Not even talking about the potentiality of the seed, but just for the residual flour from the harvest process.
Right.
It will make it illegal. Then when you put in now the potentiality of that seed, since they're not inert seeds for the chickens, because we don't irradiate stuff we're going to put in our bodies.
Right.
So next thing you know, we're not going to be able to do it anymore. We did plant seed this year because Missouri is real tough. They're regardless of what happens in the federal law, Missouri is going to stay with these weird, horrible definitions that are ungodly.
Right.
And what that means is we're still licensed, USDA licensed farmers. I wasn't going to plant this season, and Kara convinced me to go ahead, and if your live streamers are seeing our illegal chicken feed, I decided, well, I'm going to take 2 jugs of that, and I'm going to go ahead and plant our field in grain hemp.
Yeah.
Because normally it costs us about $1,500 to $2,000 in seeds for a season.
Yeah.
We weren't going to invest that this season because we will have to destroy it November 12th.
Right.
So in order to get something that may not have to be destroyed, we planted the grain hemp, and it ends up costing me, if we're out, $15 for our seed.
Right. And if you wanted to continue to grow for consumable products, you would literally have to move to another state that has its own state law that would allow products.
No, we can grow here in Missouri. We can do everything in Missouri. We just won't be able to sell anything in Missouri.
Okay. Are you allowed to sell to other states?
We'll be allowed to sell in other states that are federally legal, and all the things that meet the parameters that are federally legal, because there are a lot of good federal changes coming through. So to meet the CMS standards for Medicare and Medicaid. So we'll be able to do those things. We just won't be able to do those in Missouri as far as on offer for sale.
Right.
They can't prohibit us from doing something federally legal for manufacturing, growing. We're federally licensed to grow, so they can't jump in to stop us from doing that.
Right.
They can just stop us from selling in the state.
Okay. Wow. Not even online, huh?
Not even online. Well, I think we can actually sell online to other states as long as it's not selling online in Missouri.
Yeah. That's just crazy to me. You know, it's funny because it's been a year now since HB 445 passed here in Alabama, and almost a year. I think later this week it'll be a year since it was signed into law. And it's hard to believe that it's been a year, but I think for the first time having this conversation, maybe I'm glad that it happened last year before all this CR federal stuff happened in November. Because I guarantee you, if that had happened first, Alabama would have just squashed us even more. And
we almost got squashed in Missouri. The 2 bill sponsors, there were 2 bills, a competing Senate bill and a House bill going back and forth. Not to mention the tomfoolery and shadery that went on.
Right.
What they originally were going to put in there, except for Senator Carla May of St. Louis, which was awesome, representative of the hemp industry, stood up and defended it. they were going to have us, as soon as the governor signed it, we would be illegal felons and out of business.
We'll be right back on that note with John and Kara Grady. Stay with us.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority, and Dr. Bill Williams.
The Gulf Coast can expect a few evening showers tonight. Low temperatures will be in the mid-60s at daybreak. For Tuesday, sunny with highs in the mid-80s. And the outlook for Wednesday, sunny with highs in the upper 80s. This is meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams for FM Talk 106.5.
FM Talk 106.5, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority.
I'm Roseanne Haven from WKRG News 5. Bond has been set for a 20-year-old man accused of stabbing another 20-year-old man to death at a Mobile County graduation party. Caleb Reed is accused of stabbing David Sullivan multiple times after a fight broke out at a home on Coy Smith Highway in Mount Vernon Saturday night. Reed's bond is $400,000 for the murder charge and $25,000 for a second-degree assault charge. A road closure in Baldwin County you need to know about. Southbound traffic on the Beach Express is being diverted to Highway 59 near Gulf Shores High School. AlDOT crews continue to work on the final phases of the new Intracoastal Waterway Bridge, which is expected to open this summer. AlDOT says if weather allows, detours should end by Wednesday. I'm Roseanne Haven from WKRG News 5.
Hey, CannaBama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now with all the information you want about CBD, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Tonight we're talking with John and Kara Grady. They are both veterans. They are both hemp farmers. They have a Slap Happy Hemp Emporium in Rosebud, Missouri, and they are lobbyists on behalf of the industry. And John is running for state representative. We're going to get to that in a minute. So what do you think is the real problem we have right now fighting this legal change? I mean, obviously, we've got some big markets against us, big alcohol, big canna, big pharma, name a big that doesn't like us. It's a bunch of them. But what is it that we're not doing right, or what are we doing wrong, would you say?
Well, we can't get through to Big Paws McConnell. That's the one we're still trying to get through to. I mean, he's the one that got us into this mess.
Right.
But the biggest thing is we really just need people to understand this plant. And what the problem is, we have the corporate marijuana industry wanting full control of everything. You have the alcohol industry seeing their profits going away, so they're mad about that. So they're clawing to keep this out of the hands of people so they can keep their alcohol sales up.
Right.
And you got the beer distributors going, hey, we like these hemp beverages.
Yep. But we want them all to
Yeah, we can
ourselves.
sell these, but yeah, we want it all to ourselves. So you have all these. What I like to say, we had a saying in the Navy: we had too many chiefs and too few Indians.
Right.
And really, that's what we have going on. We have multiple different facets and different groups, from the Hemp Beverage Group and Hemp Beverage Alliance to the Hemp Industry and Farmers of America to the U.S. Hemp Roundtable. There's so many different voices up there.
Right.
And the unification has really been our worst enemy, because there is not a unified voice up there in Congress talking.
I do not understand this phenomenon, because it's the same here in Alabama. Why do we need 5 groups and 3 or 4 different lobbyists that don't talk to each other? Why are we not pooling our resources? Why aren't more business owners and farmers going to lobby for themselves, for their business alongside the industry?
Well, and
what does anybody have to gain over the other? And why would you want to step on your colleagues to get it?
And it's the one thing, I know you call this lobbyists. We're not lobbyists. We're more advocates or activists, I guess you'd say.
Right.
And that's what we need more of. We need more citizens, more business owners, more people with skin in the game. What we saw happen in Missouri the last 2 legislative sessions was the trade association really wanted to have the lobbyists handle everything, because they were told that the people being there was off-putting to the legislators. But for 3.5 years, we beat back, were outspent by marijuana, but beat them back and held them at bay, because we had farmers, we had store owners, everybody going in there.
Right.
And with the last 2 years, we kind of pulled back and let the lobbyists take control last year and then this year.
And look what we got for it.
We had this happen where I even had representatives talk to me, and Kara said, "Oh, we thought you were good with the bill because nobody showed up to our offices this year."
Exactly. It's off-putting because they don't want to have to look you in the eye when they lie to you. Trust me, we were called dope pushers. We heard they were saying that we looked like we were lined up for drug court. Come on, it's off-putting because you're dirty. You're paid for, and you're doing the wrong thing. That's what's off-putting. And forget that. I mean, who cares? But we don't, as an industry, in its infancy, basically, we're talking 7 years in, we don't have the same money that alcohol does. We don't have the same money we don't make bajillions a piece like the pharmaceutical industry. We don't. So we have no choice but to work together, and we have no choice but to show up as a group in mass and bring as many people with us as we can. Don't you agree?
I agree, but one of the things that burns me up so badly is that not only are we outspent by the marijuana industry, I'm sick and tired of hearing the children.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it's not for the children, it's for the almighty dollar that they're going for. And if parents would put their products away, and it seems like whether it came from a dispensary or from a smoke shop or CBD shop, hemp is always blamed. It doesn't matter where it came from. It's always hemp is the reason, is the blame. And it's just aggravating that we all need to work together and not worry about who's going to be the one to get the accolades from everything.
Right? Who cares?
It's time to step up and work together, and in the end, hopefully, we'll be successful.
Right. You're exactly right. What are you hearing from farmers, other farmers, processors, and retailers? I know you guys are like me. You have friends all over the place. What are you guys hearing? Because, like I said before, these farmers are should be getting ready to plant right now, or already planting, and nobody knows what's going to happen in November. I mean, what are you guys hearing about that?
Well, we have friends that are they're both farmers, and they've laid their workers off.
Yeah,
they're stopping production of some of their products because of what's getting ready to happen. And our trade association is putting forth hopefully to get a stay on it. Hiring lawyers and lawsuits.
Right,
but they're having to stop because you can't count on that that's going to work. We hope it does.
Well, right. You look at Texas, it worked, but look at Alabama, it did not. Of course.
And look at the cost too. The cost.
Oh, yeah.
Lawsuit,
Well,
we're
right.
looking at
Once
between
we're all
$250,000 to $500,000.
right, and once everybody's cut off at the knees simultaneously, how do you even justify putting your money together? But I mean, it's like you're stuck in this never-ending pit of what do I do? Whatever I do, it's going to cost me more than I could ever come up with on my own. And I need, you know what I mean? We all need to come together on that. But it seems like every time something happens, you know, it was what Carol was just saying for the children. You never hear about, 40% of calls to poison control are for kids 6 and under. Parental responsibility, biggest argument you can make there. Like I've said a million times, 6-year-old never driven a car to my shop and put money up on my counter to buy products. They're getting it from somebody else. And that is not just like they get bleach and they get alcohol and they get pills and they get into all sorts of things that can hurt them. It's parental responsibility. You know,
Right.
it just, that's all it is. And you never hear ridiculous claims like THC DUIs exceeding alcohol DUIs, which is not a thing, until they're either trying to pass a bill or they're about to pass a bill. You don't hear about these things in real life. Nobody talks about them in real life until they're trying to justify crushing an entire industry. But those things don't apply to medical cannabis or adult use cannabis. They don't talk about 6-year-olds and DUIs when it comes to that in fully legal states. It's only when it comes to hemp products. It blows my mind.
And another thing that burns me up is that every time they show, at least in Missouri, they like to tout these little packaging and stuff. And then they talk about convenience stores.
Right.
I have yet to see these packaging that they talk about in convenience stores.
Oh.
And we found out that if you watch John Oliver, his last Sunday, they talked about American Shaman and our AG, and they did a press conference and they showed two papers or two packaging. Those packagings you can order off Temu,
right,
and you can fill them yourself.
Right.
So then that's what they did. And then they're like, well, these are getting sold to children and they're taking it.
And that was at the press conference for the signing of the bill. I'm a reporter, and so I was covering it. And they held it up, and these bags they held up had never been filled with any products whatsoever.
Right. They were empty bags.
that had never been filled, that they held up and said, these are being sold. And I'm like, empty bags?
Empty bags?
For what?
Yeah.
What are these empty bags being sold for? What is the danger behind the empty bag?
Well, yeah, it's just the trademark infringement that you might possibly get somebody on. And I mean, I never saw medicated Chips Ahoy or anything like that. You know, maybe back in the day you would see Skittles or something similar, but not in identical packaging. And only a few people that I know ever sold those. But I mean, John, you've been in my shop. You came down here a little over a year ago to deliver some stuff for us to have at Mardi Gras. We didn't have that kind of stuff in our shop. I know I've seen pictures and video of your shop in Missouri. Never seen a knockoff candy package directly marketed at children. It just isn't happening.
So let's talk about marketing to children. What about Sunny D vodka?
Oh, yeah.
You know, alcohol.
Hard Mountain Dew.
You know, popsicle alcohol, popsicle alcohol. So they're not raging about that, but they'll rage about something that was hemp.
Right. And you don't just find that in the alcohol section of the store. You find it in the end cap right on the end of the aisle because they want everybody to see it.
And to tell you it's not about public safety, I'll let you in on a little fun news about Missouri. We talked about Kratom a little bit, Kara did. Well, 7.0 is that toxic.
Yes, super concentrated Kratom extract.
Bad stuff. Well, in Missouri, they can't figure out if they should ban it or regulate it. They're just not sure. So they're just going to not do anything again this year. The same year they banned hemp. Now, let's talk about 7.0. 7.0 has actually killed people. Hemp has never killed anyone.
Right. And 7.0H hasn't even been around very long. Kratom has. But that 7.0H stuff, just because, I mean, like I said, when I go to expos and things like that, there's always at least a few kratom vendors there. But it's the powder, it's the traditional herbal kratom, which I still don't think is great long term. I've had to help people get off of it. But 7-OH is like 30 times stronger than morphine. This is ridiculous. And it is killing people. And it just came out, 2 years ago in the mainstream. And it's already killing people and making people, they're calling it drugstore gas station heroin and stuff like that. That's a no-brainer to me. But then again, you have the argument that what is it the government's business what I put in my body? But you're right that the contradiction between, we don't really know what to do, still don't know what we're talking about, we're just going to not do anything. Blase, when over here, hemp is the devil, and we have to put it into it.
The only reason is because we have a recreational and medical marijuana market.
Yeah. When we come back from the break, more with John and Kara. Stay with us.
Hey, CannaBama fans, are you lost and looking for a licensed hemp retailer in Mobile and Baldwin County? Look no further. Cloud9 Vapes has 2 licensed locations, one in Sims and one in Daphne, and are now serving up the relief you need. From edibles and drinks to vapes and topical creams, Cloud9 has the products you need on both sides of the bay with more to come. Go to cloud9vapesllc.com for more information.
I was in the hospital with my son for 18 months. When he got injured, I wasn't prepared, but I knew I had to be strong. When I was told about John's injury, I was in complete shock. I just remember rushing into his room and giving him a big hug and letting him know I was there.
These veterans and families are just a few of the heroes we serve at Homes for Our Troops. For thousands of severely injured veterans, everyday life is filled with barriers.
It was really the little things throughout the house. Counters that you can't roll up to. I had to drag my wheelchair down steps.
I want to help, but he is so determined.
At Homes for Our Troops, we build specially adapted custom homes with features like wheelchair access, roll-in showers, and automatic door openers that allow them to function independently and focus on their recovery and family.
This house is freedom. It's hope. It's a new beginning.
This house has given me my family back.
To learn more, visit hfotusa.org.
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now with all the information you want about CBD, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sweet Home CannaBama. You're listening to us every Monday night, hopefully at 7 o'clock, right here on FM Talk 106.5 tonight, talking to John and Kara Grady, veterans, farmers, retailers in Missouri. Now, Missouri, this is the difference between Alabama and Missouri is Missouri has a fully legal medical cannabis program and fully legal adult use program, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, I mean, even Waxy Brown, God rest his soul, even had a consumption lounge in Missouri. Yep. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Alabama didn't have any of those things. I mean, technically we have medical cannabis, but it's not available to the public yet and hasn't been for 5 years. But and we have a speaker of the House that said as long as he's in his seat, recreational or adult use would never even hit the floor. So totally different states, but same outcome. You guys got an even worse hemp ban, which I think is more indicative of the real problem with Big Canna, when people don't want to believe that Big Canna would be behind this. But you guys are a glaring example of that. Why in the world can you get medical cannabis and even adult use cannabis, which people think is the actual devil, and you can't get hemp anymore? I mean, that's crazy, right?
Well, in my opinion, we really don't have a medical program here because everything is so high with THC. There's not a lot of CBD and THC.
Right.
In the dispensaries, and a lot of times you go to a dispensary and they sell the
medical program in Missouri is a paid discount program.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Well, and
There's
it's
no real
mostly high
medical purpose.
THC products, though, right? It's not a lot of balanced products.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And we know that firsthand when our son, when he was going through chemo, he got a medical card. And when we took him to the dispensary to get, John went with him and to get what he needed, he came home and he's like, I guess we didn't pay attention to the content of the THC, but he was like stoned off his butt.
Yeah.
And it was like,
and nobody wants
yeah.
that when they're sick.
Yeah, and it was very disappointing, and then it was like, really, there's no.
This is the best you have, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's indicative of the fact that the people passing these laws don't understand this whole plant and the validity of every chemical component, because again, all they're wanting to offer is high THC products. And don't get me wrong, we all love THC. It has its place and it does amazing things, lots of amazing things. But when it is not balanced with CBD and the other cannabinoids and things like that, you're just going to give people medicine that they're too stoned to do anything. Right. A grain of rice of some oil shouldn't put you down for 12 hours.
No, and one of the things that I believe is that this could be a shared road.
Right.
If people want to get their high THC, then let them go to a dispensary.
Right.
If you want something below that, let them go to a CBD or a vape shop or
a hemp shop and get high CBD products.
Right.
Sometimes you just have to ask yourself, what would Willie do? Because Willie Nelson has Willie's Remedy, which is his CBD products, Willie's Remedy Plus, which is his THCA products, and Willie's Reserve, which is his marijuana products.
Right.
Why can't everybody other MSO out there do the same thing that Willie did?
Right. Why can't medical cannabis dispensary operations also have a hemp operation to hit that high value, a lot less barrier to entry CBD products along with their medical stuff? It doesn't have to all be under one roof. Be nice if it was for the consumer, though.
Oh, yeah. And what we're having people come in now, and they're buying in bulk. They're like, they come in and buy as much as they can at one time within their means. And we have people, our Sleepy Time gummies that we sell, they're buying them 3 and 4 packages at a time. And that's every week. Not because they use them all.
But because they're afraid they're going to go away and they have to budget it in to stock up. Yeah, I get it. Trust me. Did Missouri's bill add any criminal charges like ours did?
Oh, yeah, felonies.
Okay. Well, I don't want to run out of time before we talk about this, but let's discuss your decision, John, to run for state representative. What was your thought process and ultimately your motivation to go ahead and do that?
I'm not sure there was a thought process involved. No, when we were in D.C. this year, our last night in D.C., Kara and I walked the mall, stood under Jefferson, stood under Lincoln. I took a picture of us standing under Jefferson. I said, hey, look at that, 3 hemp farmers.
Yeah.
And Kara looked at me, and I guess she saw something in my eyes. She said, you're going to do something stupid, aren't you? And I just kind of smiled and laughed. And I thought maybe when my representative termed out in 2 years, I would run. Well, then this House Bill 2641 came up for a vote, and he voted present. And that was really kind of offensive to me, knowing that there's 3 hemp farms in his district, knowing that there's over 170 stores, its revenue is going to be adversely impacted, not to mention all those jobs that are going to be lost. And he just voted present. Well, I texted a friend of mine who is another state rep, and they happened to be on the radio at the time. And the text message I sent her went up on the screen, and it happened to be a representative who was there with her on the show, saw that, and said, you're running, and went and told the guy I'm running against. And I kind of had to make up the call and say, yes, I am, or no. And I ended up saying yes, and that's how I ran.
Well, okay. Nothing like a little peer pressure, too. Okay, so besides representing veterans and hemp farmers, obviously, what is some of your other platform issues that you would like to focus on for the folks in Missouri?
Well, my biggest thing is honesty in government right now. We really got to look at things like tax reform that's out there. There's lots of ways they're pushing it. In Missouri, they have this thing where they talk about they're going to eliminate the income tax, but what they're not doing is they're shifting it onto a sales tax. So
yeah.
It's a used car salesman selling it, and I think the citizens are becoming more aware of what's going on. They're getting upset by it.
Right.
But I want to look at that. I would like to see more ownership where we have more companies where I used to work for a company called McCarthy Building Companies. It was an employee stock-owned program where when you worked there, you became an owner of that company. So you had that weighted interest into it. And if we get more ownership and people owning homes, people owning small businesses, people working for companies where they have ownership buy-in, we grow Missouri huge. And that's the kind of stuff I want to do.
Yeah, it's in exact opposite of what it seems like is happening. You know, I mean, I keep going, hey, Alabama has some of the highest electricity rates in the country. I'm like, what are they going to do when half the state can't pay their light bill? What are they going to do? Because it's been winter and spring and people are getting these massive electricity bills. I don't know if you have been down here in the summer, because I know y'all used to live in Mississippi. It's hot. And our electricity bills are going to be through the roof. So what happens when nobody can pay their electricity bill anymore because gas is $4.50 a gallon or higher, and groceries and all the things? It's ridiculous.
And that's a big thing. Like right here in the district I'm running in, there's 2 mega data centers going in.
We're fighting those ourselves all over the state.
And we're seeing increased energy costs all around those.
Yeah.
Citizens don't want them in there. People don't want them. But we're seeing counties, we're seeing states open up the doors to these guys. Like in Missouri, they gave tax incentives for these guys to come in, open up these economic development zones, gave them abatement on all the equipment that's used to run these data centers so they don't have to pay taxes on it.
Right.
Gave them all these things, and the citizens are going, hey, my small business doesn't get a tax abatement. What's going on here?
Right.
And now my electricity's going up. What's going on? Protect us.
Right.
And so it's really about protecting that. I believe in a stewardship of the area we're responsible for as elected officials. You are the steward for that. You have to make sure that that's able to remain, and what progresses for the good,
right?
Not at the detriment of the people living there.
Right. John and Kara, I'm so sorry to say we're out of time tonight. Tell us where we can find you on social media and support.
You can find me at votejohngrady.com, and you can find me at John Grady for State Representative, District 61 on Facebook. Always find us at Slap Happy Hemp on Facebook. And if you're on TikTok, find us on slaphappyhemp.com. I think it's our 4th or 5th TikTok account by now.
Right.
But we try and make some funny educational videos to kind of educate what's going on and poke a little fun at what's going on.
Thank you, guys. Join us next week for another episode with Papa Snoop and Dr. Dana. Hopefully no technical issues. God bless you all, and God bless American hemp. Good night.